Hey Ben, so you just said something that was very interesting, and it kind of goes to what a lot of people fear have a fear of is the fear of the unknown, right? I can write this great book, but then I actually have to find somebody to edit it, to proofread it, to publish it. Um, how do you manage that? How do you deal with the publishing and editing and mark and all that stuff that drives people nuts because nobody wants to write a book and then have it just sit on their computer forever and ever.
Absolutely, and I appreciate you asking that question. It's super duper important, right? It's because if it's great to write a book for all the reasons to write a book, and it's even better to get it out into the world, right? Because you
That's
can
right.
help the people that you're serving. So, the first thing, just tactically, as far as my approach, is that I collaborate with a publisher, and we provide full service publishing. So all the things we handle, right? So rather than having to figure out how to deal with 10 different vendors or 10 different people to help you out with the different pieces of the puzzle, why not solve the whole puzzle under one roof? So as a business owner, that's what I offer the people that I serve. But then to go deeper into your question, right, of the fear of the unknown bit, I think there's a couple of really important things to keep in mind. So the first one is that most people, when they think about publishing a book, they think in terms of traditional publishing as it has applied most often to to fiction authors or people who are writing biographies and getting on the New York Times bestseller list and all this kind of stuff, right? Like there's this kind of mythical aspect to book writing and traditional publishing, and that to write a successful book I need to become an alcoholic and suffer for my art and all of these kinds of things. And it's like, no, you don't have to do that, first of all, especially if it's a nonfiction book, right? That doesn't mean that sometimes you won't suffer because maybe you kick up some emotions or remember something that was difficult in your life. Like those things can happen when you're looking at the truth, of course, but you don't have to, it doesn't have to be your entire experience of misery. So that's number one. Number two is that in this world, this wonderful wacky world that we're in today, self-publishing is one of the most beautiful things out there, especially Chris, for folks like you and me and your listeners, right, who want to make a difference with their message, make an impact with their business, right, stand out uniquely. That self-publishing gives us the power, the control, the cost savings, the ownership of our own content, all of that good stuff. And really, really important to remember here, self-publishing does not mean to do it yourself. Right? Like in the way that you do not want to do your own electrical at home, right? Or you do not want to fix your own toilet, right? Like hire a professional, right? Me or somebody else, but make sure you get a good team, because it's actually pretty straightforward from that point. When you have control of where your book goes, when it goes, like that, you don't have to write a proposal for self-publishing, right? You don't have to, like I said before, give up the rights to the materials, and to understand that there's some, even though there's so much opportunity and so many people seem to be publishing books these days, and a lot of them are kind of crap, no offense to those people, but there's a lot of fluff out there. Even in that whole kind of wild west explosion of books, that there still are some best practices in and around bringing one's book to the world. And some of them we've addressed already today, right? It's knowing your audience, it's connecting to what they really need in their language, serving them in the best possible way, right? Positioning yourself as an expert, connecting the dots to what they need, and doing all of those kinds of things, and then getting a professional, to help you do the editing right, do the cover design right, interior design, keywords, categories, distribution, all that kind of stuff. And then to also, again, with that same professional or someone else, to understand what is the best way to leverage and market that book, right? For some people it's book sales, but for me, I come from the perspective of, yeah, you could, if you wanted to make $100,000, let's do some easy math. If you wanted to make $100,000 and your average royalty from a book, let's say from Amazon, is $6 a pop, right? You'd have to sell 17,667.3 books or something like that, right? And it's like, well, you could do that, but you'd have to spend a whole bunch of time, money, energy doing that. Instead, use the book to develop relationships with people, because 1 to 10 people who hire you and say yes to you, right? Those people, even one person can be that $100,000 right there.
Right. Yep. Agree.
Yeah.
So you're really using the book, and I guess this is probably true of any, like magazine article or white paper or something. You're kind of using it as uh, a way to start a conversation uh, with kind of a pre-established fact that you are an authority, you are a thought leader in that area. So your credibility, you have at least some level of credibility right up front.
Exactly. And I would even say, beyond some level of credibility, I would say instant expertise, because humans, right? We have a history of books, right? Like it's one of the oldest media, in human history, right? So there's such, what's the word? Such magic and mystery and power to book. Oh my God, you wrote a book. You must know something about something. I've never even read your book. It might have blank pages, but I still think you're an expert because you wrote a book, right?
Right.
Yeah, very, very, very powerful. And I say this, and I say it with the footnote of, you don't use this to, don't misuse the power here, right? Use that power to leverage your message. And like I said from the beginning of this conversation, to make that impact even before your book is published, even before your book is written, because the world needs what you got right now, if not yesterday. And you might get hit by a bus tomorrow, right? So take your shot now, do your thing, and just keep building on, that beautiful momentum. And, let's all make the world an even better place.
All right, Ben, can you share with us one more time your contact information for those listeners who are sitting there? Geez, I want to write this book. I don't know how. I want to get started, or I got a book and I need help getting this thing published.
Yep.
What's the best way to get hold of you?
Yeah, so is to just hop on a conversation with me. This is not going to be a sales call. So just go to influencewithaheart.com/chat, CHAT. Once again, influencewithaheart.com/chat, CHAT. And happy to tell you how I do stuff, happy to understand what you do and make my best recommendations for what's next, whether I can support you or whether I can direct you to one of my colleagues, or even say to you, hey, that all sounds great, but you probably shouldn't write a book for about a year because you want to establish a couple other things first. No, I'll,
Right,
I'll tell you the
right on.
truth.
Awesome. Yeah, truth with no sales pressure is a magical thing.
Yeah, thank you.
So, Ben, Ben, you may recall from our discussion that my company is what's called a B Corp, and we donate all of our profits to charity.
Yeah,
And we do that because we believe in a better community and a better society. And the most powerful and easiest way to get there is through businesses contributing to their community.
yeah,
And uh, businesses like individuals have hope of what their community will look like in the future. We all wake up, we get out of bed, we go to work, we do those things that we got to do because we hope for an outcome at some point in the future that we desire.
yeah.
And so when you get up in the morning, what is it that gives you hope?
Hmm. Some of it is my actual meditation practice, because it gets me out of my head and calms me down, and then I'm like, okay, I can do this, right? Because
Hmm.
some days I wake up and I'm like, I'm not really sure if I want to do this. I'd like to go back to bed now, thank you. So that's something internally and externally, so to speak, even though it's right, internal, external, right? Philosophical discussions here. But out in the world is the is the ongoing reconnection to the wisdom of women and
Mm.
indigenous wisdom throughout the world. That's giving me hope in such a big way for the continuing evolution of this species on this planet.
That's um, a very intuitive observation on your part. We are seeing uh, the actually largest population in the world, which is women, uh, becoming more and more and more successful. And I think we both agree that that is great. But there's still a long ways to go, and it is encouraging to me when I wake up and I see women in politics and business and arts and entertainment, and they're just making huge strides, and it kind of gives us hope for generational improvement, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So
Beautiful
uh,
said.
we are winding down. So if you would like, please share your contact information with us one more time for
Sure,
those
thank you.
for those budding authors, magazine publishers, uh, MIT and Stanford speakers, just yeah, anybody who wants to tap into your expertise, go ahead and share that contact information.
Thank you. Yeah. So influencewithaheart.com/chat. Once again, influencewithaheart.com/chat. And whether you have an idea for a book, if you're halfway done, even if you have your manuscript, I'm happy to chat because we help in all the ways. And even if I can't help you directly, with my process, can certainly point you in the right direction, so you can take your next best step and bring your message to the world in the way that you want to do it, that feels good for you and that doesn't break the bank.
Yeah, yeah. Affordability is also a big issue a lot of times with getting books to market. And just from a personal perspective, I found your program uh, affordable, easy to work with. You're a great coach, so there's that. So well worth the time, the effort, and the money.
Thank you.
So yeah, you are very welcome. And that is going to wrap it up for the Fusion Hub for this Thursday. Uh, I hope everyone has a great rest of their week, and we will catch you next Thursday at 6 a.m. right here on ESPN Richmond 106.1. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Thanks, Chris.